Hi there, this is Kritika, and I'm here to present my CLA 2 presentation. It is the market analysis on Sherpa Adventure Gear. The agenda for my assignment was to learn in depth about an existing brand in Nepal and formulate a suitable marketing plan based on the analysis. This was the executive summary for the assignment and this presentation as well. So, talking about Sherpa Adventure Gear, it is an outdoor apparel manufacturing company. It was established in 2003 by Tashi Sherpa with a vision to celebrate the mountains and empower the Sherpa communities living there. It's a credible organization, a credible company whose products are sold in over 21 countries. Talking about the product features, it is tested by actual Sherpas and mountaineers who are official ambassadors of SAG. They wear the brand, they give feedback, they post it on the social media. As you can see in the picture, the lady is on a ski tour and she's wearing the Sherpa gear. So she is a brand ambassador. Similarly, the quality of SAG products is endorsed by global athletes like Pasang Lamu Sherpa Kita in the photo here. She's a Nat Geo award recipient, and in her interview following the award, she also mentioned Sherpa as one of the companies whose gear she wore for her expeditions. So this is a picture of her wearing the gear there. So the other feature is that SAG products are truly made in Nepal, unlike its competitors in both international and local. Most of their products come from factories in Bangladesh and Philippines, but 95% of the products of SAG are made right here in Nepal by Nepali manufacturers and Nepali artists like the ones you see in the picture. The other feature is that it's easily available across various outlets, flagship stores, and online. This is their store in Seattle. So across the world, they have many outlets and flagship stores. So yeah, this is one of the key features of Sherpa Adventure Gear. It's a local company that's making international waves. The other and a really admirable feature of SAG is its belief in sustainability. It's a very conscious company, and as you can see in the screen, this is a screenshot right from their website. So they have a lot of sustainable certifications, even including the Blue Sign. So Blue Sign is something even North Face has signed on to make sure that their practices are sustainable. So it is under the same sustainability certification that the North Face is, which shows that they're so serious about what they're doing. The other feature, and a very nice feature to it, is that $0.50 out of every purchase of Sherpa Gear goes into their education trust, and it funds a day of school for a scholarship recipient. In the picture are the recipients and the founder, Mr. Tashi Sherpa. Now, going towards the brand identity. Brand identity is something that visually formulates identity as well as presentation and seduces the customer. So talking about Sherpa, Sherpa is bright and red, and it has an endless knot of two loves. And the endless knot is a symbol that communities and businesses can come together. And at the end of the day, everything actually comes together. So every Sherpa product before going out has the endless knot embroidered on the left-hand side of every jacket or every t-shirt. So even the name Sherpa, it has an identity in itself because it brings customers closer to Nepal, closer to Mount Everest, which is the topmost pinnacle of every mountaineer's and adventurer's desired destination. So that visual and that verbal identity also matters a lot. So the country identity that we talk about in marketing, I think SAG is a very nice example of that. Actually, this story is very interesting. I don't want to go too deep into it, but actually, within 10 years, SAG was featured in a magazine that actually gave birth to SAG because Mr. Tashi Sherpa realized that he had to do something. He had to come back and do something after he saw that there was Nepali mountaineers featured in an international magazine. And he thought, why isn't this done in Nepal? And he actually came to Nepal and started Sherpa Adventure Gear. And within 10 years, his jacket, the Imja Ultra shell jacket, was featured in the top 10 best jacket in the buyer's guide in the same magazine. So it was a really big milestone for him. And that shows how much the identity is connected to the vision. Now, going to my CLA, it actually revolved around creating a marketing plan for SAG products, and it required minute details on the competitors, on the situation, on the life cycle, and everything. So, for that, I actually went back to my other major assignments. So, starting from PA1, PA2, and my CLA1, I did everything on Sherpa Adventure Gear. So, I actually went back to those assignments, which the learnings from which I'm going to share now. So the PA1 revolve around the situation analysis, so segmentation, targeting, and positioning. Talking about segmentation, Sherpa claims that it's not for everybody. It is for customers who are adventurous, who value authentic local products, who value international standards. So they have segmented their clients accordingly. And among those segments, they have chosen and targeted the customers who have open minds and big hearts. So it's not geographic, it's not based on gender. It is actually a more of young adults, because they are the ones who have more inclination towards adventurous lifestyle. But even age is not a factor if you have that adventurous spirit. So they actually target based on psychographic features. And positioning, when it comes to positioning, they're a quality leader that have positioned themselves in a niche client segment, so a niche clientele. When I did the SWOT analysis, these were the major findings. So these are the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. The major strength is the Made in Nepal USP. The major weakness is the higher price point, and opportunity is the rise in young population who have a dispensable spending power and a knack for tourism and outdoor activities. So it could be a new segment right here in Nepal. And the biggest threat right now for SAG is the COVID's effect on adventure tourism, because it directly affects their products. And talking about pest role, there are many, many factors, but the major ones were political, economic, and social. Going to the CLA one, it was mostly based on competitive analysis. So we all know the five forces of Porter. So the competing forces in case of SAG, when we talk about existing rivalry, the international brands, they have official stores in Nepal, like the Hardware and the North Face. They both have official stores here in Nepal, and also local brands are living up to the name, like Sonam and Kailash are also catching up slowly. And there are substitutes, like brands like KTM City. They do not actually do adventure gear, but they have winter apparel, which is easily substitutable for smaller hikes and smaller trips that people usually do. And there are also non-branded counterfeit products easily available around Tamil. If you just take a stroll around Tamil, in even less than half the price, similar jackets are found. So there are many, many substitutes in the non-branded section as well. And power of consumers, as in any, I think, business, it's really high, because the bargaining power is high, because they can go to any competitor, they can buy substitutes, so their bargaining power is high. Talking about the bargaining power of suppliers, especially in case of SAG, it is high, because SAG does have sustainability certification that it has to adhere to. So they need meticulous detailing during procurement, so even a slight change can ruin their reputation. So they're heavily reliant on suppliers, because it's outside their circle of control. And talking about new entrants, because barriers to entry are not that much, so a manufacturer can even be a cottage industry started right at home with minimal investment and just one certification. So other companies with new technology can catch up, and it's a big threat to SAG. I also did a competitive profile matrix with Sonam and the North Face, and Sherpa Adventure lies in the middle of the pack. It was the weakest in terms of web presence and locations. So moving to the PA2, it was about the life cycle analysis. As we can see in the diagram, it charts the process of a product throughout various stages, from introduction to growth to maturity and decline. It is not the same for every product, because some product right after they're introduced, they get declined. Some products, like in example of Coca-Cola, it's still growing after so many years. Like petroleum, it's still growing after so many years. Some stay in maturity phase for the longest time. So it actually depends on the product. And this is not just to see when it will reach, but it is about determining strategies that can bring the most profit to the company. So in case of SAG, it is actually in between growth and maturity right now. It's actually forced into maturity because of COVID, because people are not requiring the material, because it's very functional product. It is fashion, but it's very functional fashion. So when people are not climbing mountains, when they're not going out on hikes, the need for adventure clothing or outdoor apparel is very minimal. So that's why they're pushed towards the characteristic of a mature company, but they're still at the growth phase had the COVID not happened. So in the introduction stage, the main marketing objective would be to build market awareness and credibility so that people try SAG products. So product and promotion would be at the highest priority, and strategies would be to focus on the benefit of the product, features of the product that are understandable to target customers, and the main objective would be to create maximum brand awareness, because it is the introduction phase. Many people don't know about it. So going on towards the growth, it's to differentiate yourself so that customers prefer your product. So product must be available conveniently at the right places. So they even have their store in Namche Bazaar, because that is where a lot of mountaineering activities happen. So they are in the right locations. Right now, it's very smaller. So compared to Sonam and other international brands, the stores are very, very limited. And that is why it actually ranked much lower than other companies in the CPM as well. In the maturity stage, the marketing objective would be to maintain sales and widen the product usage. So it should target high-end customers with pricier products, and also maybe implement a lower price strategy in Nepali market, because as I said, there is a growing market in Nepal as well. And talking about product, two strategies would be necessary. Existing product line should be further differentiated even more than when we did in the growth stage, and product line should also be widened, because when a product hits maturity, it's kind of like it does not have any more customers to sell. That's why we need to start creating more customer segments. In decline, it should either aggressively market itself, or strip away from all the products serving the outliers, as well as products with low ROI. So it either needs to reinvent itself, or it needs to cut its cost. So the major analysis after all of these were that quality positioning to capture bigger segments of the niche clientele is the way to go for SAG, because it is a very niche product. Its green initiatives and community ownership are both very major strength, because in when it comes to niche segments, then people are really particular about what they buy. So these are more very, very major strength. The biggest threat for SAG right now is the downfall of tourism and adventure industry due to COVID. It has been so severely impacted that it actually had to close down its flagship store in late 2020. So it shows that how serious this has been for SAG. But actually, new markets are booming. Like I said, SAG's Made in Nepal USP distinguishes it from like big brands, even the North Face, as a matter of fact, because the North Face is not made in Nepal. So SAG can stand out even in front of such a big competitor. And when it comes to Nepali products, the quality and the international acclaim, like SAG has won awards from international magazines. It is endorsed by athletes, so, and the quality, it has sustainability certification. So that puts it in a higher place than local manufacturers, but it is lagging behind in terms of online presence and location convenience. And COVID has forced SAG to show characteristics of a mature business, like I told before in the life cycle explanation. But with the right marketing plan, it can be sprung back into the growth stage where it was. So the marketing plan basically revolves around the post-COVID strategy, because it was the biggest threat when I did the analysis. So based on the analysis, my CLA2 paper suggested a marketing plan covering multiple activities, to be specific, 3 activities to recover from current pitfalls brought by the pandemic. It has a special focus on web presence and physical location. And when I did the analysis, I really wanted to be practical. We need to realize that SAG is in a seriously threatening place right now. I'm actually over time, but I think it's 15 minutes. I'm 13 minutes, 20 seconds in. I'll try to wrap it up as fast as I can. So the first plan would be to set up and boost the e-commerce store. The goal is to increase online buyers. With physical stores closing, this is a no-brainer that they have to go digital. So increase engagement on social media. Right now, everybody wants to go out. Everybody wants to go out of their home, and that's a very powerful feeling. This marketing plan would be to capture that sentiment, so the mountains miss you as much as you miss the mountains. Dream now, travel later. Post an image showing your favorite outdoor travel memory in Nepal and tag us. Together, let's reminisce the good old days, and you might stand a chance to win a limited edition jacket from Sherpa. So engaging with existing customers and giving them a recall value, a reminder marketing activity, that would be something that would not cost a lot but would have a big impact. The third would be to make physical stores more appealing. SAG actually has already invested in a lot of stores, and people do buy a lot after the lockdown gets lifted. I'm pretty sure people will go back on the streets to buy. So a better plan would be to pull them into the store. And for this, technological integration is required adventure imagery is required. Big interactive screens where people on the mountains, traveling around, so stuff like that would be pull people into the stores, and the purchase rate would also grow higher, and market awareness would be higher for SAG products. So that is what this plan entails. So the integrated marketing communication tools are four. It's sales promotion, direct marketing, interactive marketing, and public relations. So this is the marketing communication budget. It's 40 lakh and 5,000 rupees. E-commerce sites, social media promotions, salary of a social media officer, interactive storefront display, adventure imagery with global athletes. So these are the things that major spending would be done on, and this is the project budget. This brings us to the end of my presentation. So these were the references. So thank you for listening. I hope it was worth your time, and it is 15 minutes and 20 seconds. Sorry for being a bit above time. Thank you.